Hello everyone, Razorblade Mango here, and I just got back from PlayStation Experience. I know, I've for the last 3 years I've been talking about these showcases and conferences and events and all that stuff, and for the first time in a very long time, I the first time ever since I've done this channel, I have actually gotten to personally go to one of these and play the games there. I got to see the showcase live. I was in the I was in like one of the very I was in like the area was divided into like numerous sections. I was in the very first section closest to the stage because I got there around 3 o'clock in the morning and waited in line for 7 hours. That's right, I waited in line 7 hours for that showcase, and I had such a good time at the showcase. On the floor, I got to meet people. I ran into some YouTube celebrities that I'm fans of. I was very happy about that. Played some great games that I'll talk to you guys about. Went to quite a bit of the panels, so I'll talk about my impressions of those as well. So I guess for overall my experience, I'm gonna do this in, I guess, 3 videos. I'll do this in three, because I don't want to make this like super long thing. I just want to divvy this up, so in case you guys don't really care about the panels, you can just skip to a video and me talking about the games or the showcase or whatever. So we'll do that. First showcase, panels, then games. So this video will just talk about the showcase. And Sony did really fucking well this year. If you've ever seen my video, my very impromptu video from the last PlayStation experience with me and my friend Mario, you know that both of us were not happy with the last PlayStation Experience showcase, and that's putting it mildly. The truth is, I was really, really disappointed by what they showed. I thought it was just a slog to get through, overly long, barely showed anything worthy of stage time, at least in my subjective opinion. Aside from Uncharted 4, Final Fantasy 7, and maybe a handful of other things like Ni no Kuni 2 and Ratchet and Clank. And I just really, really, really strongly almost hated the last show, and I was so happy I that was the year I chose not to go. I'm so happy I didn't go that year, because I would have walked out really upset that I waited 7 hours for that. But not the reaction I had this year. I was very extremely pleased with the showcase. I definitely thought it was worth waiting out in the cold for 7 hours to get in, and it was fucking cold. By California standards, it was fucking cold. So, yeah, I'm just going to go in chronological order when I talk about these, because I'm not even going to try to organize them based on which ones I'm looking forward to the most or whatever. I'm going to skip over some of the lightning round stuff, because I'm not going to discuss everything in that. So let's start off with what they started off with, which was Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which is the first ever standalone expansion for the Uncharted series, and it stars Nadine, who was one of the villains in Uncharted 4, and Chloe, who was not in Uncharted 4, sadly, but that's been rectified now that she's in The Lost Legacy. And I really liked this demo. They didn't really show much in the way of what's going on or like specifics or anything like that. We only got the like the most bare essence of what was happening with this story. The only things we really knew were that Chloe and Nadine are teaming up to find something, to go on some kind of treasure hunt or some kind of contract for a client, something. So, and I like how they kept Chloe hidden until the very end, which I had a gut feeling that it was going to be Chloe. I had a really strong feeling that it was going to be the Uncharted expansion, because I'd heard rumors that it was going to be shown off and it would star Sully and Drake. I mean, Sam Drake, to be more specific. And I was actually really excited for that if that was going to be the thing. But I'm also equally excited that we're getting an expansion with Chloe and Nadine, because Chloe is one of my very favorite characters from the series. Probably my favorite next to Nate himself. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be picking it up. Definitely will have a video on this, because I love Uncharted 4. I think it's great. And I can't wait for a standalone expansion. And I love that this is standalone. I love that I don't have to own Uncharted 4 in order to play this. Like, this is its own separate thing, like Left Behind was for The Last of Us. So, very happy about that. Always like a good standalone expansion. Excuse me. I'm tired. I had to get up early to get in line for today as well, so I'm a little winding down. I'm definitely gonna probably hit the hay after this, or if I don't get around to one of the games they announced for free. Moving on, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which we all knew what was gonna happen. It wasn't called Marvel vs. Capcom 4. That's like the only thing that was debunked from the rumors, but rumors are true. The next Marvel vs. Capcom is coming out, not a PS4 exclusive like some people were predicting because of the whole Street Fighter V thing from a couple years ago. It is coming to Xbox One. It is going to be on PC, so it's not a PS4 console exclusive. And it's got some interesting changes to it. It's got 2v2 now. No assists, which is interesting. It seems to be more in the vein of Street Fighter V than Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is just this really overwhelmingly stylish game where it's pretty much just chaos. It's probably the most chaotic fighter I've ever seen. But it seems like even though it still has those crazy powerful attacks and stylish over-the-top animations, it looks more aesthetically clear. Like, you can tell what's going on in each fight, and I like that. I don't think I will get it. I'm probably not going to get it just because of Capcom themselves. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but I really don't trust Capcom with fighting games anymore, particularly after how Street Fighter V was at launch. I was more excited for the people that were excited. Like, literally, you don't see it in the screen, but there was literally a guy. You don't see it in the video that they have on YouTube of the keynote, but there was a guy literally dancing in the aisle I was in when he saw Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. He was so fucking happy. He literally started dancing in the aisle. And I was just more happy for everyone else than I was, personally for the game. Because I know how much Marvel vs. Capcom means to a lot of people, and I was happy for them. I'm not really that excited for the game, but I'm just happy people are happy. The next thing they talked about was the Wipeout Omega Collection, which is pretty much an HD remaster of past Wipeout games, which is fine. I have never really gotten into Wipeout. Not that I dislike Wipeout. I just I can't even remember the last time I played it, if I've ever played it, and I'm not even sure if I've ever played it. So, but people were really happy, and that's good. I'm glad, because Wipeout, I know, is a series that, like Marvel vs. Capcom, I know Wipeout is a series that people really enjoy and have wanted to see come back. So that's good. I'm glad it's coming back for PS4. Destiny, The Dawning, it's their Christmas event. You get new gifts, you get new shit. It's whatever. And new Sparrow races, whatever. It's Destiny. The next thing they talked about, which was honestly probably the thing I was the most excited to see, our first ever look at the remastering of the Crash Bandicoot games, the trilogy, which is now officially being called Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which is a great title. But it looked great in the trailer. I've heard that this is as close as they can get to towing the line between simple HD remaster and full-blown remake, where I assumed that this game was going to get the Ratchet and Clank treatment, where we were going to get like new levels, new bosses, new enemies, stuff like that. Like they're adding more into it. But from what I hear, it's pretty much the same game, just looking like a PS4 title. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. But they are having, improvements like save points, autosave, checkpoint systems, stuff like that, which I'm happy about. That's fine. I don't have a problem with putting that in there. And I even got to play it a little bit on the show floor, but I'll have my impressions of that in the games video regarding this. Spoiler alert, though. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm really, really looking forward to Crash Bandicoot Trilogy. Next thing they showed up was Resident Evil 7, of course. I did not get to play this game, unfortunately, because Capcom are a bunch of fucking idiots when it comes to planning out your floor space for one of your most anticipated games, which I'll talk about later. Trailer was typical what I expect of this game at this point. Lots of, yelling and screaming and freaky shit and gooey enemies and guns and creepy nude girl that apparently might be influencing the Baker family, who are the main villains of the game. So that looks interesting. I am definitely looking forward to Resident Evil 7. I doubt I will ever play it in VR. Now I probably have lost my one and only chance, but I'm looking forward to it, especially after the previews that they showed last week, or this week, sorry. This week? Or no. Last week. It's a Sunday. Last week, technically. It seems that they're taking an approach between like elements from the first Resident Evil and 3, where 3, the influence comes in that you have basically 3 nemesis, where they're just unstoppable killing machines. You can't kill them, and if you take them down with like a ton of ammo, they're still going to get right back up and come after you. So your best bet with this game is apparently just to run the hell away, find safe rooms, find shortcuts, stuff like that. So I am looking forward to Resident Evil 7, and I tried out the final update for the demo, which was freaky as shit, and I liked it quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 7 a lot. Ace Combat 7, don't really care about that. It was in VR, it was on the show floor. I didn't bother checking it out. Akuma in Street Fighter 5. It's Akuma. I like Akuma. I don't like Street Fighter 5 at all, so I was just like, ugh, whatever. Like when Street Fighter 5 popped up. I'm glad that they didn't make a big fucking deal out of it like last year, which when Ono came up on stage with the fucking Ryu gloves and band, and he went on and on and on and on and on, like joking with Gio Corsi. It was so irritating because I was already getting weary of the show, and then that shit came along. It was just, ugh. They made the right call not having him on stage, because that would have like not derailed it, but that would have been a sore spot for me. But no, they just, no bullshit comedy hour, just Akuma's in Street Fighter 5. Here you go. Season Pass 2 coming out in December, if you want to get into that. But I wouldn't, because Street Fighter 5, still has a ways to go. So, and then they showed off The Last Guardian, which looks like The Last Guardian, which is fine. I actually got a little teary-eyed, I guess, during the trailer. I don't know why. I think it was just I think it was just a combination of the imagery and the music, which the music is fucking fantastic. And I loved just how beautiful it was, and just the music and everything. It was just, I got a little like choked up, just a little bit, but not like, full blown sobbing. Like I actually saw a couple people like crying during that trailer. So, and I'll get to play it starting Tuesday. Looking forward to it. I didn't get a chance to play it because the line was long, and I was like, well, I'm gonna play it in a couple days anyway, so fuck it. I'll avoid the line. And then they announced a 20th anniversary remaster of Parappa the Rapper, the first one. And one of my friends who I went to the convention with is a big Parappa fan, and he was very, very excited about that. So that was awesome. I was happy for him. I'm not, I like Parappa as a character. But I'm not, like a big fan of the games themselves. I just like Parappa as a mascot. But I might check out the remaster of Parappa the Rapper because it's been a long time since I played it. So I might like it now. And I got to play a little bit of it on the show floor, and it looked very nice. And then they announced Patapon and Loco Roco, which I have never heard of. So that was odd. And people really were happy when they saw Loco Roco and Patapon, and I've never heard of these games. So yeah, I don't know. They could be PlayStation classics for all I know. I've never heard of them. I mean, I might have in passing, but I was just like, what? What the hell is that? So there's that. They talked about Knack 2, which I honestly don't really care about because I never really cared for the first Knack either. So that's a thing. Knack 2's coming out. Hooray. People were happy. Gravity Rush 2 free DLC. Raven's Choice. I'm probably not gonna play Gravity Rush 2 for a long time. I wasn't really crazy about the first one. I thought it was just okay. And I played it on the PS4, and I just was like, yeah, it's okay. But I don't know. I liked what I played from. I liked what I played. Sorry, I played it at Target actually a month ago. So I thought it was alright. It was seemed to me just more Gravity Rush. So whatever. I know people are really into Gravity Rush, so I'm happy for them that they're gonna get free DLC, free good, I guess expansive story DLC, which is nice. Then they went on to Gran Turismo Sport, which I really don't care about, honestly. I'm not someone that likes racing games, so it just, well, at least realistic racing games, so it wasn't for me. I actually heard from a friend of mine who attended that it gave him motion sickness because it was apparently really pixelated at certain points. It gave him a big headache, so that was disappointing to hear. I didn't get to see it personally, but I trust his opinion, so I don't doubt that, especially if it makes you sick. And if I hear more reports that it makes you sick, I want to be like, oh god, maybe the VR mode really is not that good on the Gran Turismo Sport. So there was that. One of the things I was really excited to see was Ni no Kuni 2, which was one of the very few highlights of the last conference. And it was also one of the highlights here as well. It looks fucking gorgeous, as expected from Level 5, who are a legendary studio by now, who are great. I really like the first Ni no Kuni, so seeing Ni no Kuni 2 last year made me really happy, particularly after a conference of shit. And this year, seeing Ni no Kuni 2, I mean, if you listen closely in that in that keynote video, you can actually hear me in the background go, "Oh my god," when it's announced, because I was on my phone messaging somebody after the Gran Turismo thing because I kind of checked out of that. And then when I looked back up, I saw it was Ni no Kuni 2. I was like, "Oh my god, yes!" And you can kind of hear me in the video, so keep an ear out for that. Um, then they announced Yakuza 6 and Yakuza Kiwami are coming to the West. Which Yakuza 6 apparently was announced at Tokyo Game Show, along with Yakuza Kiwami, which is an HD remake of the first game, apparently. I have never played any of the Yakuza games outside of the occasional demo or two. So I am not a fan of the series. Not that I dislike it. I've just never played them extensively. So I don't know. An HD remake of the first game, that honestly, that might be something I could be interested in because it's the first game. So maybe, who knows? And then they showed off. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right. Danganronpa Volume 3 or V3 or whatever it's called. I no idea what. I know the mascot, like that, like a weird teddy bear looking thing. I know the mascot. I don't know the game. So to me, it was like, oh, I know that mascot. Okay. Near Automata, which I am somewhat looking forward to because it looks really good. It looks fun. It looks like a return to form for Platinum after like some rough times with that last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, which I heard was crap. So that's good. It looks beautiful on PS4. Happy about that. Never played the first Nier, so I don't know if this is like gonna be something where it's got like this long, complex story from the first one, and you don't really know what the fuck is going on when you go into Automata if you've never played the first one. So I don't know. I'll have to keep an ear out more for more info. But cool, Nier Automata. Ys Origin. No idea what that is. Coming to the West apparently. People were liking it. Cool. Dreadnought, some space shooting game. Didn't really care very much, honestly. So there was that. Pyre, which is from Supergiant Games, who are the guys behind Bastion and Transistor. And already just with those two games, that's a hell of a resume there, because Bastion's good, Transistor is really good, and I actually got to play both a really lengthy demo of the campaign from Pyre and quite a bit of the PvP multiplayer from it too, and I fucking loved it. It was probably the thing I enjoyed the most at PSX from the shit that I got to play. But I fucking adored it, and I'll go into why in the games video. But that like skyrocketed up to one of my most anticipated games of next year. I'm really, 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 really looking forward to Pyre now. The next thing they showed off was this game called Vane, which was actually on the show floor, and one that I kept going like, oh, I want to try out Vane, but I never got around to it, which made me sad. So then they did Absolver. Oh, I'm sorry. Vane is it looks like a weird action RPG kind of thing. It had a cool art style to it. It looked weird, looked trippy, so I was into that. Didn't get to try it though, which made me sad. Absolver, which I did get to try, which is like a martial arts melee fighting online PvP game. Mario, who's been on the channel before, I got to play this game with him where we fought and did our kung fu fighting, and I had a blast with it. I really, really enjoyed Absolver. So aside from a couple things that were amusing that I'll go into later on, But besides that, I did really like Absolver. I'll probably have to check that out once it comes out. The next thing, What Remains of Edith Finch, which is a game that I have been keeping an eye on for the past 3 years now, probably. Like ever since it was announced at Gamescom, I believe, like some years ago. I've always found this game to be fascinating, at least like its topic, where it's about a woman coming back to her old family house and trying to unravel this curse that apparently affects her family, where like every member of her family meets some really bizarre death. So that alone sounds really cool. And then the fact that you get to play out all your family members' deaths, it's morbidly fascinating to me. And this was also a game that I got to play as well, which made me very excited. And I really liked it. I actually got to talk to the developers, and they gave me some insight as to like what happened and why they went dark for such a long time. Even got to talk to the creative director, who's a really nice guy. So that was very interesting to hear. It's not being published by Sony anymore. So they confirmed to me personally that it's going to be multi-platform. They're targeting a spring 2017 release date. And it's being published by Annapurna Interactive now, which, if that name sounds familiar, Annapurna is a movie production company run by Megan Ellison, who they've funded multiple films like The Master, Everybody Wants Some, Killing Them Softly, Zero Dark 30. Bunch of other stuff, bunch of films that are just, mostly just indie films. But they have a very solid reputation with funding movies. And already, with the fact that they're getting into game development now, What Remains of Edith Finch is really interesting. It's a really interesting choice for them, and does suit them very well. And apparently people from Sony that left to join Annapurna, they're still involved with What Remains of Edith Finch. So that's part of why the game went dark for such a long time, and they switched over to Annapurna from Sony. But it's still coming on the PS4. It was at PSX, so I assume they're still on good terms with Sony. And I got to play a pretty lengthy demo of it, and I really liked it. Next thing was from the guys at House Marquee, called Nex Machina, which is from the guys that made Resogun. And if you guys follow my channel, you know I'm a big fan of Resogun. I thought it was the best PS4 launch title. I really, really enjoy it. I'm a fan of House Marquee in general, and I was really happy to see this game. It looked great from the trailer, and I also got to play some of it, and it was really fucking cool. Didn't do very well at it, because they were handing out cards or vouchers for like some free swag shit from their booth if you got like a high score, like if you got on like the top 10 players at the conference. I didn't. I placed pretty low, but it was basically everything I expect from House Marquee. It was fast, it was flashy, good gameplay, very solid gameplay, very fun, very enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to Nex Machina. Let It Die was the next thing that they talked about, and this is a game that was announced. Oh my god, it feels like a lifetime ago that they announced Let It Die at E3 2014. It was supposed to come out in 2015. Obviously, that didn't happen. And it was released yesterday. And it's a free-to-play game from Suda51, who is the guy behind Shadow of the Damned, Lollipop Chainsaw. Oh god, what's the other one that I'll have to look it up later. But he's like he's like Hideo. He's like let's say Kojima's mind was a person, like all the wacky shit and everything. Suda51 is like his like drunk, crazy cousin or something, where it's just very sloppy, very crude, but some of them, a good chunk of his games are good. I like his style more than I actually like his games. And there are some of his games I do really like. Like I really No More Heroes is what was one of my favorite games from the Wii. Probably the only game from the Wii that I really loved. Especially No More Heroes 2. Killer 7, which was actually I still have my copy of that for the PS2. So I like Killer 7. I like Lollipop Chainsaw. Couldn't get into Shadows of the Damned. Couldn't even make it past the first hour of Killer's Dead. I hate Killer's Dead. So he's like hit or miss for me. But I do like his style. I think he's got a really goofy, interesting style. And Let It Die is his first foray into free-to-play gaming. And I have not touched it yet. I might play it after I get off recording this. Maybe make a video letting you guys know what it's like. But yeah, it's we will see. We'll see. I hope it's good. I've heard not so great things about it. Because I hear that online connection is really finicky and it will like delete the loot that you get, which is unacceptable. So I'm hoping I have a good time with Let It Die. Next thing was Lara Croft Go, which is apparently coming right now to PS4. Whatever. That was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like when they announced like Square Enix, I was like, oh, Square Enix? And then they said Montreal, and I was like, oh, never mind. But to be fair, I've heard good things. I've heard really surprisingly good things about Lara Croft Go, and even Hitman Go. So it could be great for all I know. Didn't do him any favors putting it like literally next to Crash Bandicoot on the show floor. So no one stood in line for Lara Croft Go. Everybody was for fucking Crash. So sorry, Lara Croft Go. Didn't have such a good run on the show floor. Windjammers, which is a game that I have honestly never heard of. People were losing their shit over Windjammers. Even my friend was like, dude, you've never heard of Windjammers? Like, usually I'm the one telling my friends, like, when they've told me they haven't heard of a certain game that I love, I'm like, really? You've never heard of this? Well, the roles were reversed this time, because they were just like, what? You haven't heard of Windjammers? No, I haven't. Apparently it's a flying frisbee game that's coming back in HD to the PS4. So again, this is another game that I was more happy for the people being happy that it was announced. Like, I was really just like, okay, whatever, it's a fucking frisbee game. Might play it later, might not. I don't know. Starblood Arena. And now this is where they got to the VR section. And where I went, oh no, don't do this after such an excellent momentum of really nice stuff. But thank God they learned their lesson from last year. Last year they just like bombarded us with all this VR crap that took forever to showcase. Didn't even work properly on stage. So I think they finally realized, hey, let's not have a VR demo on the stage. So they only showed off like one game extensively. It was this game called Starblood Arena. It was just some like shooting thing. It was whatever. They showed a brief montage of all the upcoming VR games, which whatever. Didn't really care. Neo, which is like the Samurai Dark Souls thing that Koei Tecmo is doing from Team Ninja, who are the guys behind Ninja Gaiden. To be honest, I would really like to be excited for this game. I would really like to be into it, but and to be fair, I did not play it on the show floor, and I didn't get around to playing the beta that came out on the PS4 a couple months ago. I played the alpha, And I honestly, I just couldn't get into it. Like, I felt like it was just tough for the sake of being tough. Like, I couldn't get into it like I can get into Dark Souls or Bloodborne. I wasn't feeling Neo, honestly, from that alpha. But, trailer looked cool. Enemy designs look amazing. Bosses look great. Love the graphics. So maybe I'll give it a try later on down the road once it's cheaper, and I might check it out or rent it just because I want to. MLB The Show 17, which, I expected that at some point, and I'm glad they kept it brief. They were like, hey, this is MLB The Show. Here's some brief footage. Here's retro mode, which I actually got to play retro mode with Mario, and it was surprisingly a lot of fun. And I don't even like baseball games, and I really liked the retro mode from it, so that was cool. Horizon Zero Dawn, they showed that, a new trailer for that. It looked fine. At this point, I just want it in my hands. And I got the chance to play it, and I really liked it. So thankfully, how good the gameplay looks in all these trailers it plays exactly like it looks, which is a very good thing. And then, they were really nearing the end of the show, and then Shawn Layden comes out, and I was wondering what they were going to do for the grand finale, because last year they did Paragon as their one more thing, and of all the games in that conference to have as your one more thing, Paragon was one of the worst to have. It's a MOBA. Don't have a fucking MOBA as your one more thing. No one's gonna care. But what they showed off here was the exact opposite of what happened last year, where they definitely saved their megaton for last. So to stop being around the bush, they announced The Last of Us Part 2, which has been rumored for some time now, has been speculated. It's finally got an official confirmation. Probably won't be coming out until 2018, 2019 even, because they said it's in really early development. So it's going to be a while before we see The Last of Us 2. So, but to give up a play-by-play of what happened, when I was there, the room lost their shit when the Firefly logo pops up on the stop sign in the trailer. People lost their goddamn minds when they saw that, and honestly, for me personally, and I've said this in past videos, I was very skeptical about the idea of A Last of Us 2, because I think what really sells that game is how ambiguous the ending is. Because the ending to The Last of Us is fantastic because of how morally gray and ambiguous it is, and it just ends it on a perfect note. Like to me, that is where Joel and Ellie's story ends. And I really did not need A Last of Us 2. I never wanted A Last of Us 2. But when that Firefly logo was shown and the whole room just burst into resounding applause, God damn it, I couldn't help but smile. I was like, okay, you've got me. I'm not sure what it's even about. We still don't really know what it's about, but I was like, okay, this, all right, you have earned this after this really excellent conference. You have earned my approval to show A Last of Us 2. And I'll get more into my feelings, what I felt after the panel of The Last of Us 2, because I did attend it. I was in the first section, which made me very happy. So I will talk more about The Last of Us 2 itself in the panels thing and my feelings about that. But needless to say, they ended the show big. And it's really a testament to Naughty Dog's a status among the fans, and how powerful they are as a company, where Sony chooses to close and end their show with Naughty Dog, or Naughty Dog IPs. But yeah, they saved their best for last. They saved their Megaton, and they used it very wisely. Very, very good teaser too. Very chilling. Gave me some goosebumps, because it was cool seeing Ellie, as she's playing the guitar, you can see like her hands are shaking, like she's got like PTSD or something. Well, I know it's hinted that she has survivor's guilt at the end of the first Last of Us. Like her hands are shaking. While she's playing the guitar, you can see like the scrapes and scars on her body. She's got like a cut above her head. You see like blood trickle down the side of her face while she's singing this song. I forget the name of the song, but they said it during the panel. Very chilling, very just chilling, very chilling image. Very, very excellent usual cinematography from Naughty Dog. Which Ellie, older now, she's 19, so that was interesting to see. We didn't really get a good look at Joel, and yes, Joel is in this game. I really don't think I want Joel back. At least I didn't want Joel back until I saw the panel. But I was like, I don't know, like having Joel here, because if there was ever going to be a Last of Us sequel, I would just want it to be Ellie or someone else and Ellie. I didn't want Joel. Like, I wanted Joel to be like dead or something, or gone. But he's in the game. He's not the playable character this time. The playable character is going to be Ellie, which is good. That's the right decision. But I really like just the shot of, like, while she's singing, you see him walk through this house, and there's like dead bodies around, and the way Ellie delivers that line, or the way Ashley Johnson delivers that line of like, I'm gonna find them and I'm gonna kill every last one of them, was really, that's a really, really good delivery of that line. We don't know who them are, so that's a big unanswered question right now. Who the hell are they that she's talking about? But we don't know. Of course not, because the game's not going to come out until fucking 2019. We probably won't even see it, any glimpses of it, until like E3 2018 maybe even the next PlayStation experience. So that is another strong exclusive in Sony's belt. Another big strong one. Sony did really goddamn well with this keynote. And I keep calling it like keynote conference showcase. I'm just gonna call it showcase. They put on a fantastic showcase, really fucking fantastic. This year it felt like an extension of their E3 thing, where they literally just shut up and just bombard us with games. Because when I saw the first sign that I knew this was going to be better than last year is when I looked at how long this was going to be. It was only an hour. They had this only down for an hour, and I was like, oh my god, that's good. That's already a good sign. But yeah, like for an hour and like 10 minutes, it was just games. And yes, they talked, but they didn't like have any of the developers come up or anything or any shit like that. It was just, here's some games. Games. Here's some exclusives. Uncharted, boom, Wipeout, Crash, Ace Combat, Last Guardian, Parappa the Rapper, Gran Turismo, Ni no Kuni, Gravity Rush 2, Nier Automata, What Remains of Edith Finch, Last of Us Part 2, MLB The Show, Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo. It was just like exclusive, game. game, exclusive, game. And like I thought most of them looked really good. And the games that I wasn't interested in, stuff like, you know, Gran Turismo Sport, the VR shit, Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, they didn't dwell on them. They were just like, oh, here's a trailer. Done. Got it out of the way. No goofy shit with the guy from Street Fighter 5. No long-ass, boring showing of Gran Turismo from the series director, series creator. No boring fucking showing of VR from live stage demos. That was a disaster last year. So yeah, and they even got Shuhei Yoshida up there to talk, which was nice. And I was part of that crowd chanting Yoshida, Yoshida, Yoshida. So I was in that crowd. But yeah, it was just, they learned, this, where PS4 Pro Sony was, you know, the cocky side of Sony that I don't like. This was the confident side. This was the side that was at E3 2016 and 2015. This was the side that it was just no bullshit. Shut up. Game. Let's bombard you with really quality, high quality IP. Like we're just gonna throw games right at you. And it's like, oh god, that's a lot of games. And it was a lot of shit in an hour. So very impressive, very well paced. Avoided almost every single pitfall that I can think of for this. Really just excellent. The only two things that could have made this even better, or if you had that live orchestra again, which was a brilliant idea from E3, but you probably couldn't fit that in there because of space. Live orchestra and Kingdom Hearts 3. That's really the only thing that would have made this even better. Kingdom Hearts 3. Maybe Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Maybe God of War. God of War and Spider-Man would have been nice, but I was satisfied enough with this keynote that their absence was not really felt to a great extent. But yeah, this was definitely worth standing out in the cold for 7 hours for. And that, to me, is like a huge, like, Sony, people that work at Sony, if you are listening to this, I want you to know that your show was so good that it was worth standing outside for 7 hours for. That's how good it was. And that's very, very high compliment from me. But yeah, thank you. That was very, very lovely to witness live. I'm so happy I got to be there. So happy to be in the room when Last of Us 2 was announced. So happy to see the Crash Bandicoot stuff for the first time. The Uncharted stuff. It was just, to me, going to that showcase was like a dream come true for me. It's something I can mark off my bucket list. I have been to a Sony conference. Hooray! And it was one of the best ones they've ever done, honestly. Like, it was, I think I'd rank this like as their fourth best if I were to start ranking them, like just below E3 2016, 2015, and 2013. So that was great. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like to see, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite moments were from the keynote, the showcase, your thoughts on it, all that jazz. Next video I will record about the panels and some like little tidbits about the convention, problems I had with the convention. So just like a critique of it. And believe me, I do have some complaints, particularly some of the exhibitors. Some famous people I got to meet, which were cool. which was really nice. But yeah, look for that video. And then the final one I'll do is going to be about, all the games that I played, which I only played, like going back and making the list, I only played like 11 games, but I got quite a bit to say about most of them. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you later. Bye.